Hi, welcome to the Sci-Tube channel. Conventional wisdom tells us that saturated fat is bad and unsaturated fat is good for our health, but recent studies suggest otherwise. Fish oil has long been believed to support brain health, but this may not be as robust as previously thought. This is one of the episodes of our fat series. This talk will provide a fundamental understanding of fat and discuss a series of fat questions. We will discuss the health benefits of fish oil, in particular, whether fish oil can make us smart and improve students' exam performance, and whether a higher intake of omega-3, as found in the fish oil, may help to lower the rate of homicide. To start with, we need to understand what fat is. More than 95% of the fat present in the food and in the body exists in form of triglycerides. Each triglyceride molecule is composed of one glycerol, joining up together with three fatty acids. The prefix tri in triglycerides refers to the three fatty acids. It can be found as subcutaneous fat in the body. It serves as an energy reserve for us. In case of excess calories from the diet, they will not be excreted out from the body, but can be stored up in form of body fat for later use. Plant oils, such as peanut oil, corn oil, and olive oil, are good sources of fat. High-fat cuts of meat, whole milk, butter, and cream are also rich in fat. At one end of a fatty acid, we can find a CH3 group, or we can call it as a methyl group. At the other end, we can find a COOH group, or we can call it a carboxyl group. Omega-3 fatty acids are those fatty acids with the first double bond located at carbon atom number 3 from the methyl end. Here is carbon atom number 1, number 2, and number 3. And that is why EPA, it is an example of omega-3 fatty acid. So as DHA, with the first double bond located at carbon atom number 3. DHA is also an omega-3 fatty acid. Both DHA and EPA are essential to us. Essential fatty acids are those fatty acids that must be obtained from the diet, as our body fails to produce enough of them to satisfy our requirement. Omega-3 fatty acids are found mainly as components of the oils of fish, such as mackerel, salmon, and tuna. Now, back to the question of, can fish oil make us smart? How is fish oil linked to brain function? It has something to do with the brain composition. 50 to 60% of its dry weight is fat, of which around 35% are omega-3 fats. As fish is rich in omega-3, this is how fish oil is thought to be associated with brain function. Studies from animals have concluded that omega-3 fatty acid intake improves cognitive performance on several learning and memory tasks. A number of previous studies have also associated omega-3 consumption with better brain health and a lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. Here is one of the studies on whether fish oil pills help improve school performance and behavior in mainstream children, but it has been commented as virtually worthless. Let's take a look at the research design and you will know why. 3,000 pupils participated in the study and were given fish oil pills every day. Then, a year later, their school exam performance was measured and was compared to their school exam performance against what they predicted their exam performance would have been if they hadn't had the pills. Can you spot any flaws in this research design? The study suggested that fish oil pills can lead to improvement in GCSEs, but could the improvement in GCSEs be brought about by some other factors? What else could it possibly be if it wasn't the pills? It could be due to growth and development over time, and it could also be due to placebo effect. It's more than just about taking fish oil pills and your exam performance gets better. It's about your beliefs and expectations. Our beliefs and expectations can be manipulated. For example, if someone holds the belief that fish oil pills can improve exam performance, by taking some fish oil pills before the exam, this may make the student feel less nervous and more confident about the examination. How can we rule out these confounding variables? That is, variables other than the independent variable, the intake of fish oil pills, that may explain the effect on the dependent variable, which is the exam performance. This can be solved with the use of control group, where one half of the pupils get the fish oil pills and the other half get the placebo. At this point, there is insufficient evidence to either confirm or refute the hypothesis for the effect of omega-3 and fish oil on the cognition outcomes in school children. Well-conducted controlled studies are therefore needed, and here is a study from 2010. This study investigated the effects of omega-3 supplementation in 450 children aged between 8 to 10 years old, using a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled design. For 4 months, the children took either omega-3 supplements or placebos. This allows for a truer picture of any resulting benefits. The children, parents, teachers, and even the researchers were unaware of who had taken what until the end of the study. A number of cognitive tests, such as IQ, reading and spelling, working memory, and attention, were performed. Findings of this study suggest that very few significant differences were found between the supplemented and placebo group on the learning and performance measures used. There is currently no evidence that omega-3 fatty acid supplements provide a benefit for memory or concentration. Still, it's possible that the cognitive benefits of omega-3s may take longer than a few months to show up. So, further research is needed to investigate the longer-term effects of omega-3 supplementation. So, how about the intake of fish oil and its effect on homicide rate? Here is a study reported by the New York Times in 2006. The study is an experimental double-blind placebo-controlled trial of nutritional supplements on 231 young adult prisoners at a British prison. One half received a placebo, while the other half received fatty acids and other supplements. The average time spent on supplementation or placebo was about 142 days. Over time, the antisocial behavior, as measured by assaults and other violations of the inmates who had been given the supplements, dropped by more than a third relative to their previous records, whereas the control group showed little change. Of course, seeing a correlation between fatty acids and nonviolence doesn't necessarily prove that fatty acids inhibit violence. We also have to ask questions, such as whether there is an underlying mechanism for fatty acids to link with nonviolence and how plausible it is. While the study concluded that antisocial behavior in prisons, including violence, are reduced by vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids, the author also mentioned that we should not expect nutrition alone to banish violent behavior. The brain needs to be nourished in 2 ways. It needs to be educated, and it needs nutrients. Both social and physical factors are important. In other words, simply throwing fish and vegetables at violent criminals is unlikely to have a lasting effect on its own. There is insufficient evidence to either confirm or refute the hypothesis for the effect of omega-3 and fish oil on the behavior and cognition outcomes. More studies are therefore needed. So far, none of the existing findings indicated that a diet naturally high in omega-3s, from fish, for example, isn't good for our health. The evidence of health benefits from the consumption of omega-3 fatty acids is strongest for heart health, but there may also be some other health benefits. Based on the evidence so far, there is no clear basis for changing the current recommendation of 0.2 gram per day of omega-3 fatty acid as recommended by the British Dietetic Association. This is readily satisfied by consuming at least 2 portions of fish per week, one of which should be oily. In turn, one portion of fish is equivalent to 3 ounces, which is roughly the size of a hand or a checkbook. However, for people who do not eat any fish, they may need to consider supplements then.